Alright everyone, welcome in. My name is Draskyl, going to be bringing you the other Staff Cup. It's going to be a solo cast today. This is round one, going to be NADotA taking on Team Liquid. NADotA, I think personally, all bias aside, probably one of the more powerful teams in the tournament. Also in round one, if I can actually get, oh, there we go. There it is. Took me a minute to find. We're going to have Dignitas. EG, by the way, decided to pull out. They had a staff meeting, and then we're looking for some kind of replacement. So for the other first round, I'm not sure if Dignitas actually has an opponent or not. And of course, I don't mean the professional team. I mean the Dignitas staff team. And the EG staff team is the one who pulled out of the tournament. Then we're going to have Dota Commentaries versus ECAL also in round one. And the North American Casters versus ESFI. And of course, this game, Team Liquid versus NADotA. So looking at the bans, and I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but the bans are tiny inside of their boxes, as we'll see Templar Assassin, Invoker, Rubik, and Darkseer all taken out of the pool. NADotA does have first pick. Remember, these are random in round one and round two because these are best ones all the way up until the finals, which is going to be a best of three. So a maximum of 5 games total that we'll be bringing you today. So Leshrac first out here for NADotA. We'll go ahead and see what Team Liquid has to bring here. And I mean, a lot of their players, I'm not really sure how much they actually play Dota 2 at all, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. Of course, their roster, Bumblebee, Flamewheel, Hotbid, Kipsate, and Heyoka, all, of course, from Team Liquid. And then for NADotA, we're going to have Spitwad, one of the admins, Josephine, Akiri, Grand Grant, and Gank. So more notable North American players there. They're going to go ahead and follow up here from Team Liquid with an Enigma and a Tidehunter. So already pretty massive team fight coming out for the Radiant side, which is definitely backwards considering usually we see Radiant with the first pick and Dire with second. But of course, all random in terms of picking in the first and second rounds means that Team Liquid is going to be picking second. So now, next two coming out for NADotA, we'll see what they're going to go with. And already with the Leshrac, they're going to take Windrunner, so there's one of their dedicated offlaners. And I feel as though they're a little bit open still. Leshrac can do a lot. Even though he did just get that Edict nerf, he can still lane dominate. He can be a support. He can go mid if he really, really wants to. Depends on what they're going to be going with. We could be seeing, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm actually failing here. At a loss of words, but we could see a possible next Leshrac. I mean, I know that Ganked, anybody who knows him personally knows that he just absolutely adores that dual lane. For whatever reason, we always pick on him about it, but we'll see if they're going to actually bring it to fruition here today in this tournament. And Jakiro is going to go ahead and round out the first three for NADotA, so they have a lot of, I guess, nuking power in terms of being able to spam down waves. You have Power Shot, you have Dual Breath. Liquid Fire is great for pushing. Macro Pyre can even be used to clear out waves. It's a pretty short cooldown for an ultimate, and Leshrac spam is also very, very potent at the same thing. So now, Team Liquid going to be rounding out their first three. They already have a lot of team fights, so we'll see if they're going to go for a middle, maybe a potential offlaner. Tide could just as well suit that role if he really wanted to, but I'm not sure if it's just going to be a support Tide or not. So the first of the last pick phase coming out here for Team Liquid. They got about a minute and 30 seconds left. They are going to cut into their reserve time. So we'll see, once again, what they're looking for. And once again, I want to thank you guys for joining us for the other Staff Cup today. It's something that I just decided to do for fun. And they're going to go with a Batrider, new and improved picture there. You can see a pretty big difference in what it used to be beforehand, and the patch added a couple other things as well. And Batrider just got a lot of buffs. Of course, his strength gain has been increased slightly, and by slightly I mean it's actually got increased quite a bit. I want to say it's 0.7 higher than it used to be. And Batrider also with the turn speed increase, they made his Firefly last 3 seconds longer. It makes him a good enough hero to essentially pick up in the first 6, as we have seen recently. So, Naga Siren, Venomancer are going to be banned out here for NADotA, and then Team Liquid takes out an Anti-Mage. So, NADotA obviously not having any carry to speak of. Neither does Team Liquid, though. I guess they just don't want to have to play against something like that. Naga Siren falling a bit out of favor recently, even in the pure competitive scene, whereas this, I would say, is more of a fun tournament. But they do have some skilled players in it, so it should still be a treat to watch, as Sand King is also going to be taken out here by Team Liquid. And I feel as though the Nake Sand King, or excuse me, the Sand King Leshrac lane is one of the lanes that's been around for pretty much ever since the beginning of time. Double stun has always been something that people put together just because it's so good at shutting down one of those lanes. We're going to wait for 2 more bans out here. NADotA has 1. Team Liquid also has 1 left. And then we're going to get into the last 4 picks. We'll see these teams kind of shape into their own here in the last couple of picks and see what kind of style they're going to be going for. I feel like Team Liquid is looking at a lot of aggression. Tide can be played very aggressive. A lot of teams don't do it, though, just because of the fact that Ravage is such a great defensive utility. You don't really have to buy Blink on him if you don't want to. Some people just build him as a tank. Some people build him as an initiator. And I feel as though with Batrider probably going to be rushing a Blink himself, Enigma can just go for the mech. Tidehunter can maybe even make some kind of a pipe or any other tanky items to be able to walk into a team fight and just be an overall threat. Whereas NADotA has a team that can really just split push if they wanted to. Jakiro can spam waves. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And Windrunner being a great offlaner, she can even do quite well against what Team Liquid has at the moment. I mean, Enigma is likely going to be jungling. I don't think we're going to see him do anything else. Offlane is a possibility, but it's not likely. Just assuming how fast Enigma jungles, you kind of want to take advantage of that, especially if you're going to pick him up, even if he's not known for being a great lane ganker, because typically you want level 5 or 6 before you make your way down there. He can still be used to push and a tri-lane and get towers relatively fast, so we'll see if Team Liquid wants to go that route or if they want to go for the ganking Enigma route. Last ban's going to be Chen and CK for each team respectively. NADotA takes out the Chen, Team Liquid takes out the CK. Now we're looking at the last two from each team, and it's going to be a Juggernaut. So Juggernaut, obviously a hero who's come into more of the limelight recently. A lot of teams picked him in the International. Most notably, I guess, would be Na'Vi when they picked it against Naga Siren team. And they had Enigma on their team as well, and they were able to turn around the Naga Siren initiation very, very easily on the back of that instant magic immunity that also does a pretty significant amount of damage as long as you're close to it. I know pretty much everybody knows that, but as time goes on, I realize that a lot of people who watch these casts really don't know that much about the game. So if I say stuff that you're like, oh man, everybody knows that, it's pretty much not everybody does know that. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind as we go through this cast today. Team Liquid, though, looking at two more heroes. They're going to pick up Luna, so they are going to get a hard carry for themselves. Of course, Animage, CK, and Naga were all banned out here, so it didn't really leave too much in terms of hard carry potential left. And she's been seeing a lot more play ever since the nerf of... Drawing a blank again. The nerf of... Come on, I'm going to get it here in a second. Morphling, there it is. Okay, it came to my brain here a couple of seconds late, and I saw the Lifestealer pick, and I thought about that for a second, then I was like, wait, brain lag. I knew they were going to pick Lifestealer at some point in this pool, so Juggernaut probably either going to be going mid, or they're going to be sending a Lifestealer Leshrac mid with a Windrunner off lane, maybe even a safe lane solo Jakiro. I'm not really sure what they're going to be going with in terms of the laning phase, but Luna, of course, seeing more play as of late because of the fact that, once again, Morphling was nerfed. You can't actually attack anymore during his waveform. They increase the mana cost of Morph, which cuts his survivability by a pretty significant margin. I had the opportunity to play him the other day, and I'll be honest, it is a pretty noticeable change. Now, last pick, going to be in the hands of Team Liquid. We'll see what they're going to go for. And I mean, they already have their carry secured. They have a potential offlaner, and they have a potential mid. Are they going to pick a pure offlaner here? I mean, Beastmaster is still in the pool. Darkseer is actually banned out, so they're not going to have the opportunity to take him. And I feel like Beastmaster is relatively good, actually quite good, against Juggernaut and Lifestealer, because the Boar Slow still goes through magic immunity, so you can slow heroes down like Lifestealer, who also just received a recent buff himself, a 1.25 second increase to the duration of his rage, so it's no longer 4.75 at level 4, it's actually 6 seconds, which is the better half of a unused BKB. I mean, 6 seconds is actually quite high because it's giving you a 3,900 gold item, even though if you count 4 uses off of it, it's still a very, very good ability. Obviously increases your attack speed, allows you to pretty much kill a hero within that duration without them being able to do anything to stop it. But Enigma can black hole, and Batrider can still lasso through magic immunity as well, so we'll see if they're going to be using that for that specific scenario. And we are going to see a dedicated offlane bounty hunter, so looks like we're going to just be seeing a support tide. Everyone's going to be picking up their heroes. I want to welcome you guys once again to the other Staff Cup. It's NADotA taking on Team Liquid. My name is Draskyl, bringing you all of the action, or I guess we don't know if there's going to be action or not, but seeing these rosters, God, I really hope that there will be, because they can fight, and they can fight some more. It's a very aggressive style coming out of both teams, so once again, we'll go over the rosters for anybody who's joining us late. We're going to have Akiri playing on that Windrunner, likely going to the off lane. We're going to have Ganked playing on the Lifestealer. NADotA Spitwad going to be playing on Juggernaut with a really crazy-looking mask. That is actually really scary-looking. Josephine going to be playing on Jakiro, and finally, Grant going to be playing on Leshrac. Then on Team Liquid side, we're going to have Kipstate going to be playing on Luna. Over here, we're going to have Bumblebee taking up the reins on Enigma. Hotbid going to be playing on Bounty Hunter Heyoka, playing on Tidehunter, and finally Flamewheel going to be playing Batrider, likely going mid, starting off with his 3-branch and Tango build. That is pretty much a mid-only build. You never see that out of anyone unless they're going to be going there and rushing a quick bottle. And of course, most teams with any sort of organization don't go bottle on any other lane than mid. So we are going to be seeing the Nyx Leshrac going towards middle lane, and Spitwad saying he lost gold already. Not really sure how that happened, but hopefully they can kind of recover from that. And I just want to make sure that the overlay is actually on. Boink, there we go. Had forgot about that for just a second, but waiting for the creeps to spawn. We'll take a look at the way the lanes are going to shape up for Team Liquid. They're kind of all running around here in the woods. Not really sure just yet what's going to happen. I have a feeling Heyoka is just going to be down here babysitting the Luna, and then of course we're going to have Bumblebee jungling with, that means off lane, a Hotbid Bounty Hunter. Bumblebee, see you at TI3, says Grant, so little bit of friendly banter going on before the first creep wave spawns. And Juggernaut's starting with a double slipper build, so he wants to make sure he gets all the last hits. He knows he's probably going to be against the solo, so there's not really too much of a reason for him to buy a stout. I don't think Hotbid's going to be wanting to trade in that situation. Whenever you start off in a lane where you know you're not going to be getting harassed, starting with the most base damage, even going so far as to buying a quelling can be to your benefit just to ensure you get the rest of that farm. So Akiri's going to be going bottom against a Tidehunter and a Luna. So I don't think he's actually going to be too pressured here. Tidehunter can't really effectively zone out a Windrunner solo. They're going to be really relying on those ganks from Enigma to force him out of the lane. And middle, of course, it's going to be a dual lane versus a Bat Rider, and Flamewheel is very keen to this as Grand Grant has an Abyss sitting up on the high ground, looking to line up a stun, decides to just come out and throw some auto attacks off instead. But over time, the more sticky napalms that stack up here, he's not going to be able to trade so well. He does land a Split Earth, so he's done quite a bit of harassment damage, but as his creep wave comes to assist him, Grant is forced back to his side of the river. So Heyoka's doing what he can here, but we can see Akiri is not really feeling too pressured. They have a Gush, but Windrunner's pretty much enough to offset the slow here, and it should allow Akiri to play relatively aggressive. And of course, Hotbid sitting up here top lane going up against that Juggernaut, and over here we're going to have Josephine playing Jakiro, doing some creep pulling. No sentries, actually there are sentries, excuse me. And the first thought there from Jakiro. She hasn't, or he or she hasn't placed him in. I'm pretty sure it's a guy actually. So they're not going to be able to zone him out effectively just yet. But as time goes on, we'll see how aggressive they want to play this. I mean, Ice Path, ever since the buff, it is a pretty reliable crowd control effect. So they could be looking to score a kill on Hotbid early on if he doesn't play a little bit cautiously.
I don't think so.
Go ahead and open up the CS. 9-3, leader on the board here for Ganked. Not really a surprise. He started off with the Quelling Blade, and Feast makes it insanely easy to last hit. And top lane as well, Spitwad is sitting at 7-7. So the two highest farmers in the game on the side of NADotA, not really too much of a surprise. They basically got two lanes that should win pretty handedly. Of course, mid and top. Akiri going to be the one struggling on the side of NADotA for the moment. And Team Liquid, I mean, Luna's farming okay. She's sitting at 5-1 right now. We're going to have a quick pause out. Not really sure what the issue is, but I want to thank you guys again for joining us. This is the other Staff Cup, NADotA taking on Team Liquid. If you guys enjoy the cast, feel free to follow the channel. It's Twitch TV/NeoDota. My name is Draskyl, doing all the casting. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Draskyl. You can also follow me on my personal Twitch channel at Draskyl with 2 L's. I'm sure a lot of the people watching the cast today already know about that, but I just figure I'd throw it out there for anybody who might not have known before. And let's see what the problem is. Lag, very bad. Apparently Flamewheel has to close a few things. Don't want lag. Want to make sure everybody has a reasonably lag-free game so we can ensure that it's going to be as close as possible, and skill and drafting, of course, is a dictator of who's going to take the win. Remember, guys, this is a best-of-1, so whoever gets taken out here is pretty much out of the tournament completely. They're not going to have a chance to go into a loser bracket or anything like that. And then, of course, it's just round 1 semifinals and straight to the finals. A total of 5 games if the finals go to a full best-of-3, which I kind of think that they will. There's a lot of teams in here who have a lot of notable players in terms of at least skill that don't play for competitive teams, so I'm looking forward to a lot of Dota 2 action. Of course, there are 3 or 2 at least other round 1 games going on at the moment. Of course, we're going to have Dota Commentaries taking on ECAL, and North American casters taking on ESFI. So those are 2 matches you guys also could be watching. And I'm not sure who exactly is casting them individually because we have a caster dedicated to each game. But I want to thank you guys for tuning into this one and watching Team Liquid versus NADotA. So the game's finally resumed. More farming continuing here. 2 highest farmers on the map still going to be that Nakes and Juggernaut, so not really too much of a surprise. And this is something that I feel as though Team Liquid, oh man, the courier just got picked off. Where the heck did it die? Random courier walking down bottom lane. I didn't even see that. Akiri looks like he might have just ran it right into Luna. So my bad for missing the courier kill. At least it wasn't a first blood. But that is not something that NADotA is going to want to repeat. I'm not really sure how that even happened necessarily. A walking courier, of course, not very quick. I'm pretty sure Luna with her base move speed without boots is actually faster, and you really only need 1 auto attack, given the fact that Luna starting off with Aura is going to be quite a bit of damage. So it's 175 free gold to the team of Team Liquid, and they're going to be pretty happy with that exchange. Middle lane, though, we could be looking at a potential dive. Flamewheel running very far back. He's going to pop the Firefly. If he needs to, he can actually turn around. Grant actually taking a couple of tower hits there, right-clicking a bit too early, taking a bit of harassment. Of course, a tower is going to get off of him eventually, and he'll end up being able to back up and be just fine. Bumblebee still farming away in the woods. He is actually completely out of regen. He just bought something on the courier, though. Oh, in the meantime, middle lane, Flamewheel is going to get dove. Looks like the open wounds has popped off. Edict doing quite a bit of damage, and he is going to get first blooded, dropped by Gank. So Flamewheel will be the first death on the board there for Team Liquid. And they have overcome a little bit of the fact that they lost their chicken by picking off that Bat Rider in the mid lane, of course, giving me a shout out because he knows that I make fun of him about that dual lane that they're running all the time. and he has to just get his word in. So I will give it to him. Ganked, you got the first blood. No problem, man. I'm proud of you. Middle lane looking to be pretty one-sided in the favor of NADotA at the moment. He's sitting at 23-6. Meanwhile, Spitwad is 24-13 in overall CS. He's finished a poor man's shield. He's also sitting at a ring of health. So Hotbid definitely struggling up here. They have dropped a sentry in the lane. It's got about 2 minutes left on it, so he's going to have to be playing very, very passive. And Akiri bottom lane sitting at 17 CS. He is going to get Gush, though. Pops the wind run. And as I talked about earlier, he's going to get Lucent Beamed. Actually, the slow might be enough to get one more auto attack off. He throws up the salve between the auto attacks. Is he going to be able to get to the tower in time? He actually has boots. No, the Lucent Beam's going to go off before it can juke into the fog spot between those trees. So Luna gets a kill on the board as well. Akiri dropping there in the off lane of NADotA, so now it's all tied up 1-1. We'll take a first peek at the gold graph. Of course, it's going to update after that kill, but NADotA has a very slight lead, roughly about 750 gold, looking at 250 experience, so not really too much to worry about, as Hotbid is going to be forced back once again in this top lane due to the sentries dropped by Josephine. Sentry, of course, still got about a minute left. He does have another one in his inventory to be quite annoying, obviously, and since he's able to pretty much freely creep pull whenever he wants. He actually missed a stack right there, so I'm not sure if they want to go for a kill up here or if she's just going to do, or he or she's going to do the pull for the single instead and try to push the wave. And looking at Jakiro's skill build, he has opted to go for the 1-1-1, not going for extra points and a liquid fire. And you know, this is something that I talked a bit about to a lot of players, even professional players, and Jakiro's now with his buffs one of the few heroes where I feel like you can actually change up the skill build however you want and it still has its usefulness. Every ability he has is quite good. I would say Dual Breath, probably the weakest in terms of overall scaling. Liquid Fire is very good for pushing waves. Ice Path, of course, is now a much more reliable crowd control effect, as we're going to see a couple of exchange hits between Bounty Hunter and Jakiro here. But for the most part, Jakiro now can do a lot of different things. I think that buff, making him a very solid hero, stat gain's pretty ridiculous to begin with. So as a support, he's very durable. He has 700 health at level 3 with just a branch. That's pretty absurd. In all honesty, I mean, that is a lot of HP. You look at Leshrac, has 3 branches, same level. He has 120 less health. His base strength is 20 compared to the 28 of Jakiro, so that just gives you an idea of how much of a difference stat gain there really is. Now Akiri going to be in trouble once again. Gush in the Maleficent. Look at how fast he drops to the conversions. 2 full waves. Those greater Eidolons doing so much. Now level 3, and it looks like top lane Hotbid's going to drop as well. So a Bounty Hunter and Windrunner change deaths right there. 1 for each team. Both the offlaners struggling a bit, but now Enigma has made his way to the lane. Are they going to continue the pressure here on the tier 1 tower? I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or not, but still pretty darn even in this round 1 game. I don't think the viewers would have it any other way. Edict going to be popped, applying a lot of pressure to this middle tier tower. They're going to go ahead and pop out the glyph. I don't know if it's going to be enough to save, although there will be a creep wave here, so the Edict not going to be quite as effective. As Grandis actually decided to level his Split Earth over leveling Edict, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. If they catch out Flame Wheel, he's pretty much dead regardless. He still doesn't even have boots. He has 1 CS. 1. At 7 minutes. That is how hard it is for him to lane against this composition. I mean, Batrider has no escape mechanism other than being able to walk over a cliff with his Firefly, so that's really all he can do. Lifestealer has opted to go for a Midas, and he's definitely got it relatively early. He already has the Midas charge used, and I mean, Midas has a 100-second cooldown, so that means he used it 80 seconds ago, which means roughly about a 5 or a 6 minute Midas for him. And top lane, Boots picked up for Juggernaut. Looks like he's going for a quick Battle Fury. Leader on the board right now in terms of overall CS is going to be ganked, of course, playing on that Lifestealer. Luna, though, sitting at 38. She's not doing too bad. Akiri could be in trouble once again. This is a level 7 Enigma. He does have ultimate if he has to pop it. Akiri going to be in some trouble. Pops the wind run. Are they going to ult for him or not? The Lucent Beam from long distance. He might be able to get behind the tower in time. Also, mid-tier 1 does drop, but they're not going to expend the Black Hole to get a free kill. I'm not really sure if that was worth it or not. They definitely could have pushed the tower off of it if Akiri had died another time. No one really on NADotA has a TP at the moment. I mean, Spitwad does, but I don't think he can really stop a full wave of level 4 conversions by himself. Hotbit has actually made his way to the jungle, as he's going to go ahead and spot out Nix and Leshrac. Akiri also down here in the bottom lane, going to be spotting a haste rune. Going to see who's going to pick it up. Not sure if it's going to be Nix or Leshrac. Look, it is going to be Nix, but Hotbit sees all of this. So I feel as though Team Liquid has a chance to react. They're going to go ahead and line it up right here. Who's going to run in first, if anyone? Looks like NADotA is going to choose better of it and back off. There are 4 heroes here from Team Liquid, so they were looking at a possible turnaround, but not going to get really anything done for it. More creep bowling being done top. Flame Wheel in a bit of trouble, taking some auto attacks here from the haste of Grand Split Earth is going to land. He actually decides not to continue pursuit. Spat Rider is level 6. He has Flame Lasso. Hotbid's still sitting in Shadow. He actually re-invised right in vision of NADotA. He's actually maxing it instead of anything else, and now Ganked is going to get chased back. But he's not going to be in too much trouble. Still 2-2. Take a look at the net worth, and yeah, we can see the difference, really, in terms of overall gold. Luna had just picked up an item there, so it just leveled up a bit, or leveled off, I should say. But overall, NADota's carries are looking a little bit better in terms of overall money right now than Team Liquid. TP reaction coming in mid because he's the first team fight engagement. There are conversions here already out. Lifestealer's going to go right onto Nyx right here. Black Hole immediately. Can they stop it? A carry with a shackle and a stun. So Split Earth both cancel it. There's a counter ravage hitting pretty much everyone from NADotA. Can they retreat from this? We're going to also see 2 people fall already. Jakiro and Nyx, the first 2 to drop, and the rest of Team Liquid is going to retreat. Spitwad TPs, but it's a little bit late. And that's a really big teamfight win right there. They managed to kill the carry who did go for a Midas. His Midas is off cooldown while he's dead. That is the worst feeling in the world. It was a nice cancel on the Black Hole, but the counter ravage, Heyoka ran off to the side, hit every single person from NADotA that was there, and managed to get a good enough counter initiation to secure 2 free kills. So Team Liquid making their way back on the board in a very, very big way. 2 kills. They didn't manage to push the tier 1. It's actually taken essentially no damage at this point. But we will see if NADotA wants to try to react to this in some way, because Ravage is going to be down, of course, for another 100 seconds, and Black Hole, being one of the longer cooldowns of any ultimate in the game, going to be roughly under 3 minutes. Hotbid chasing Akiri to the rune, of course. He doesn't know that. Oh, man, is he actually going to get it stolen? Hotbid does get the regen rune, takes it right in front of Grand Grant, who wanted it for the extra mana, so Akiri, being the nice guy and leaving the rune for Ganked, ultimately gets it stolen. That's going to be a bit of a bummer. Sentry dropped here on the high ground by Jakiro to make sure if Hotbid does make his way to middle lane, he will be spotted out pretty much instantaneously. Right now, 4-2 kill lead still in the favor of Team Liquid. Although the gold is still favoring NADotA at the moment. Experience, though, sitting at about 1,200 right now in favor of the Radiant side. And Spitwild's going to continue to farm here in the top lane. He's going to have a really, really fast Battle Fury, probably about 13 or 14 minutes, I would say. Already has the boots and Poor Man's done. So you have to consider that's another 750 gold that he's expended that could have been already used towards this Battle Fury. It would have been even faster if he skipped those 2 items. But he wants to play it safe. Totally understand that. They're actually going to try to chase out Luna in this bottom lane, who is level 8, has the drums and Tranquil Boots picked up. This is a completely standard build. Ever since IG, I think, was one of the first teams who did it. Or, correct me if I'm wrong, it was either IG or it was... I'm blanking out on names today so badly for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I'll think of it. Loda, there we go, was one of the first people who did that build as well. Shark going to be going off the track behind the tower, so they're going to be able to spot him out if he wants to go in. Going to see a Lucent Beam done there for harassment on a Jakiro. And this tier 1's going to be in a bit of trouble. Grant and Jakiro both looking for a deny. Are they going to be able to get it? Malphus goes off. They want to chase this in. Here comes Luna. She has track speed, and that's going to be a very dead Jakiro. Pops the Eclipse Splitter, does land, so Grant is not going to end up dropping as well. It's just a 1 kill and 1 tower for free right now for Team Liquid, and they are grouped up here as 4 heroes. The only one not here is Heyoka, who does have his ultimate off cooldown now if he wants to try to engage in a team fight. More splitters being thrown out, more of a counter push measure here from Grant. He needs to be careful. He's going to get 1 stack of sticky napalm, more tracks going off onto Grant himself. Going to see a TP in the back. Jakiro has made his way back to the lane. Tier 2 still being pressured a tiny bit. Looks like Team Liquid is finally going to fall back. And Grant, or excuse me, Ganked in the meantime is actually just free farming middle lane. He's working towards that armlet, which of course just got its recent buff. No longer a 5-second cooldown. It's just 1 second. Means you can pop it over and over again. Looks like Team Liquid still doesn't want to give up push. They want to sit here bottom. Black Hole's going to be up in about 3 seconds. Mech already completed there on Enigma. So they have a couple of teamfight items already coming out here. Tidehunter's saving all his money. Not sure if he's going to go for his Straight Blink or finish his Arcane Boots. He can really do whatever he wants at this point. Bounty Hunter also looking to secure himself a drum. Take a look at Spitwad here. He does finally pick up his Claymore in the stash, so he's only about 500-600 gold away from finishing up that Battle Fury. That's going to propel his farm quite nicely. And the leader of the CS is still NADotA, but I mean, every single time that they get a free tower, get a free kill, Team Liquid is going to be pulling themselves a little bit farther inside of this game. And we can look at the gold, it's almost dead even. I mean, 1,000 at 13 minutes is negligible at best. Really not even worth mentioning. Experience has stayed pretty much the same. In terms of net worth, Nyx and Juggernaut are still the highest, but Team Liquid, once again, sitting here 5-man mid. They want to push down a tower. They have Black Hole. They have Ravage. Can NADotA do anything about this push? Split Earth from long distance there by Grant trying to kill those Eidolons, but it's going to eventually drop. Lucent Beam goes off, and Kipsey really wants to go in this. Ice Path will catch him. Malphus catches Jakiro as well. Are they going to continue pursuit? There's going to be a nice shackle from Akiri, slowing down Luna. And they're not going to expend any ultimates whatsoever to kill one lonely Jakiro. They just get another tower for free. In the meantime, top looks like they will eventually trade 1-for-1. So this time, NADotA paying it back. Juggernaut gets a tower last hit. That is his completed Battle Fury, so roughly at right about the 14-minute mark. Every time I hear that, I think that a kill's going on, but it's basically just you can hear the spin from anywhere on the map. So if it offsets you guys, it offsets me too. Trust me, every time I hear it, I just want to look over there. But of course, no heroes in the vicinity. And Team Liquid's going to continue their push. They have significant team fight. It's only 5-2, 14 minutes in the game. So there's been a kill roughly every 2 minutes, which isn't a lot, but it's definitely better than some of the games I think I've seen in the past in terms of passivity. The entirety of NADotA sitting behind their tower. I think this is the first 5-on-5 engagement we could potentially see. Juggernaut almost level 11, looking for that level 2 ultimate. Track, of course, used here on the gank. Lifestealer running behind the tower. We're going to see some sticky napalms. Just being throws out the ice path, but also gets Gush. That's a lot of minus armor. I mean, -6. Gush maxed out. He actually wants to go in. Luna is not going to get shackled to a tree. They are going to get a follow-up stun, though, coming out of Leshrac. And there's the ultimate from Spitwad coming down from the high ground in his woods to throw out the Omni and take out Luna. The rest of Team Liquid is going to go ahead and fall back. That's a big defense. That's exactly what NADotA was looking for. They do have one more potential hard carry than Team Liquid does at the moment, so if they can continue to defend their tier 2s, they're going to be in pretty good shape. Grant throwing out another precautionary stun, looking for the rune, however, not going to get it. Oh, middle lane, we're going to hear a Ice Path and an Open Wounds go up on a Flame Wheel, and he's going to drop to the auto attack damage of Lifestealer with his armlet now completed, and the Treads Midas. His farm is absolutely insane at the moment. He's sitting at 91 last hits at just 15 minutes. And for those of you who don't know, the normal benchmark is 100 CS at 20. That's considered pretty good. He's got almost 100 at 15, so he's about 4.5 minutes ahead of what good farm would be considered, which means that his farm is actually quite good. And now Juggernaut, with his Battle Fury finished, has level 2 Omni Slash, walking through the woods, doing some farming of his own. 1,200 gold saved up. We'll see what he's going to be buying next. Ogre Club now secured on Luna, probably going for the BKB, and Luna is only level 8, quite under-leveled actually, for a carry role. If we look in comparison, Juggernaut's level 12, and I mean, Nyx is level 10, but he has a Midas, so every single time he's off solo farming and he's going to get that bonus experience and catch up a little bit to Spitwad in that regard. Hotbid scouting out Roshan here with the Shadow Walk. There is a Sentry and a Ward dropped here in the bottom river. Man, these guys really want to win. Like, both teams are playing this quite seriously. Of course, it was very similar in the original Staff Cup that we played in before. I myself participated in it. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, go watch the VODs on own3d.tv. I know Cinderin casted those, so you can find them on his channel. And there were a couple of other casters as well. But back to this game. TP coming in here from gank. They want to continue to defend their tier 2s, and this is pretty much their only job at this point. Track going off on Jakiro. Malphus is going to hit Grant. He tries to pop the Edict, but gets stunned out. Gush as well. Are they going to get him? Flame Wheel goes in for the lasso. Gets immediately Ice Path, though. Is he going to make it out in time? He's going to be the first one to fall, as Grant is the only death at the moment. We're going to see Eclipse go off and a counter Ravage. Ganked in quite a bit of trouble here. He doesn't have any mana left. He can armlet toggle, but no one has dropped on Team Liquid just yet. He's going to be the third one to go down. So Leshrac, Jakiro, and Nyx all going to be taken out here. Flame Wheel gets out with basically no HP whatsoever. Mech definitely helped with that. Here comes Juggernaut, though, with the level 2 Omni Slash. Is it going to get anyone? No, neither of them drop it. They split the damage. Akiri from the low ground throws out a shackle onto Bumblebee. Are they going to be able to get the TP out in time? Power shot barely misses Kipsate, and he makes it back to base. Are you kidding me? Is every single person going to get away from this? No crits at all for Juggernaut with level 4 into Blade Dance. 35% chance, not quite enough to get him a kill. Dear God, man, where is your luck? Every member of Team Liquid makes it back to their base. They don't get the tier 2, but they get 3 hero kills and a very, very important kill on Nyx. That is painful. Juggernaut decided to go with Boots of Travel, so he is going for a very farm-oriented build. Bot to a wave, clear it down, walk back into the jungle, and continue your farm. So it looks like NADotA is not really worried about pulling it to a late game. They're actually building for it at the moment, but can they get there? Because right now, Team Liquid is really just walking all over them in terms of teamfight potential, but if you look at the golden experience, it's in favor of NADotA. They're a 3,500 lead in terms of gold, 2,500 in terms of experience, and while Team Liquid has a very good team-oriented, like, fighting style, every single time they're not fighting, NADotA is pulling ahead in terms of individual farm. I mean, looking at the CS, Luna's sitting at 74, Juggernaut has 120, there's 103 on Nyx. They're also going to be going for a Roshan here, so if they get this, they're going to get themselves even farther ahead. I'm not sure if they're going to give it to Juggernaut or Nyx. I kind of feel like Nyx is the one they're going to want. But overall net worth, I mean, Juggernaut's sitting at 8,200, 7,800 for the Nyx. This is a very, very rough situation for Team Liquid, in all honesty. As good as they're looking in team fights, they need to make more happen. They need track to really become that great equalizer that we so often see it in competitive games, and they need to keep winning these team fights like that to ensure that they're going to have a foothold here as it transitions into the mid game and late game. Spitwad making his way bottom to continue pushing out waves, and once again, Team Liquid is grouped up. Tread's now finished on this Enigma. He is not going for a BKB just yet. If he wants to, he's going to pick his Ogre Club up here in just a second as he's secured 1,100 gold now. If not, he's probably just going to be going for a blink, looking for those big, big black holes. Tidehunter starting off with the Ring of Health. Could be a Refresher Rush, could be a Hood, could be a Pipe. Either one would be very, very potent, although farming a Refresher right now in the state that Team Liquid is in would be very, very difficult. Heyoka, of course, being a support. He only has 10 CS at the moment, which is a little bit low, even for a support in some cases. I guess they were giving it all to Luna in the laning phase, but sometimes, even as a support, you got to try to find your farm a bit. But Team Liquid's still looking very good in terms of 5-on-5 engagement. We'll see if they can make anything happen here in bottom lane. They do get a tower for nothing, so the tier 1 top does fall in favor of the Radiant side, and they haven't paid anything back as far as NADotA in terms of their aggression. Once again, Luna just leading the charge here. Mithrhammer picked up on her, by the way, going for that BKB, of course. Lifestealer was the recipient of the Aegis. They're going to be running away here. Grant's going to get his Edict off while he's in Fog. We're going to hear a Gush go off, but we're going to be following Grant here at the moment, as he's currently running away still from Luna. They do have that track speed, and with the Luna, you are just so fast. Maleficus goes off on a Lifestealer. Are they going to be able to get anyone for this? You're going to try to TP out. Lucent Beam is not even going to be needed right there, as they solo Black Hole onto the Lifestealer right here. No backup just yet. Spitwad's coming in. He's thinking about going in, but he actually gets counter-ravaged, and the Lucent Beams come out as well from the Eclipse. That's going to be the Aegis burn right there from Nyx. He's going to try to make his way back to the base. Spitwad is going to spin away. Nice shackle from Akiri, but ganked in a lot of trouble. There's the Gush. He's going right onto Bumblebee. Does he have enough damage? There are currently 4 members here from Team Liquid fighting against one lonely Lifestealer. Here comes Spitwad, though, with the Omni Slash. Again, doesn't get a single hero. Cancels his auto attack. Long distance Ice Path, though, onto Luna, and she will eventually drop. Tried to use the Infest right there for a bit of added damage and recover a little bit of health, but I don't think it actually hit anyone. Hotbit going to be on the right-hand side there. Pops invisibility. There's another Ice Path after the open wounds, and that's going to be another kill for Lifestealer. So they committed pretty heavily to killing that Lifestealer. Got him once, couldn't get him a second time, and that's just, again, the individual farm difference showing. And Luna just really doesn't have the pure damage output she needs at this point. She has level 2 ultimate, but she doesn't have any physical damage, and that's really what you need to take out a hero like Nyx. They do have track, which goes through rage, but you have to time it, so the minus armor actually does something to him. At the moment, though, it's only level 1 track, so minus 1 armor isn't amazing by any means. I think it goes 135. Yeah, it does indeed. So once he gets to level 11, he'll have that additional minus armor to help out his team and their right-click potential in taking out that Lifestealer. But as time goes on again, I mean, 9,900 gold for this Juggernaut, or 9,900 net worth, I should say. Getting close to the 10k mark for both him and Nyx. Overall experience getting a little over 5,000 in favor of NADotA, and gold is looking to be close to the same. Almost 5,000 in terms of gold for them. Grant making his way down middle lane, looking to try to push something. Flame Wheel picked up an urn, by the way. He is going the standard 4-1-4, just 4 points into that Napalm, 4 points into Firefly, and then 1 point into your Flame Break, which, by the way, I want to say it was Vigas who did a different build a couple of weeks ago in Starladder, and it was very interesting. He actually went like 3 Napalm, got a couple into Flame Break, and then only like 1 or 2 into Firefly. A very interesting kind of burst style build, even though, I mean, with Firefly and a couple of stacks of Napalm, you kill people quite fast anyway. Flame Break scales quite well. It's 75 damage per rank, so every single level is just as efficient as the next, and I think we could be seeing a little bit of variation of builds of Bat Riders here in the future. And Hotbit's still sitting at level 9. He really wants the level 2 track. We're going to see a quad smoke up here from NADotA. They're looking to try to make their way towards bottom, maybe make a kill happen, maybe get a tier 2 off of that. There are wards down here from Team Liquid. This one is actually just placed about 30 seconds ago, but they have no sentries to see this coming. So Enigma going to be the recipient of a very untimely gank. Ice Path goes off. Ooh, he gets the Blink Dagger off in time before any damage is dealt. Even if he had gotten open wounds right there, I think he still would have been safe. So very nice reaction there from Bumblebee. Avoids a 4-man gank. And now Hotbit is going to be forced to juke as well down into the woods. He's going to go ahead and TP back to his base tower. Top lane, 3,500 gold. Sitting in the inventory right now, Juggernaut. See what he wants to go for. Picks up an Eagle Song, so we could potentially be seeing a Butterfly. Could be an Ethereal Blade, who knows? Probably a Butterfly. I think that's a more standard choice. 23 minutes into the game, only 9-6. There's actually been a lot more action than I feel as the score dictates here, because We've seen a couple of team fights. We've seen a lot of tower pushing, and as long as people are actively pushing and trying to make things happen, I have no problem with a low-kill game whatsoever. Sometimes it's actually exciting to watch how teams react to certain situations, what their movement looks like, how their supports play. Maybe it's just me being a nerd. Probably just me being a nerd, but still, Team Liquid has a way to go to get themselves back into this game. They're really waiting for that Bounty Hunter to get his level. Juggernaut actually getting close to level 16, so he's going to have that level 3 ultimate himself. Jakiro working his way towards a mech. He does have that headdress picked up. Or he could be making a pipe, as Akiri actually also has a headdress and a buckler as well. So probably a pipe for Jakiro. Full mech for Akiri coming out soon. Leshrac going with the Bracer, Arcane Boots, and Gem. So they really don't want Hotbit to be getting in the way in team fights. And if you can pick off a Bounty Hunter before anything happens in a fight, that is huge. Because that means no tracks guaranteed other than the one he might have gotten off before the altercation happened. That is a very, very big deal. Oftentimes you have high priority targets like Tide or Enigma to try to kill them before they can ultimate. But in a lot of cases, you just can't make that happen because of how durable the heroes build. But a Bounty Hunter, I mean, he's only got 1,000 HP. He doesn't really have that much in terms of survivability when you look at how much magic damage output is on NADota's team. So if they can catch him out before anything really big happens, that's going to be very huge for them. On the flip side, Team Liquid, all they're really looking for is a decent blink initiation. They have that blink up on Enigma. We saw it in the woods when he avoided that 4-man gank. Tide Hunter is going for a pipe, by the way. Picked up that casual cloak. Luna now with their BKB finish, sitting on top of level 13. Got the double drums coming out here for Team Liquid, and I am a huge fan of drums, for anybody who doesn't know, even after the 6 damage nerf. I feel as though they're one of the best items in the game on pretty much any hero. Very stat efficient for the cost, only 1725. I could be an ad person for drums. I love the item. I just love it. Pressure being applied here to the tier 2 of NADota. Team Liquid sitting here with 4 or 5 at the moment. Oh, blink in from Flame Relay. He's going to catch out Akiri, but he's going to get open wounds immediately. Here comes Bumblebee with the black hole. Manages to get 2. Ice Pad immediately cancels. Oh, hey, look, I'm looking for a Ravage right now as the Eclipse and BKBs both popped there by Luna. We're already going to see Nakes and Jakiro drop straight away as Leshrac is going to follow suit. So that's a double kill for Luna. And right now, Akiri on full retreat, but just simply cannot do anything about it. The team fight initiation coming out for Team Liquid a bit too strong. Right now for NADota. And things are looking pretty grim. That's 4 heroes and a tier 2. There is nothing they can do about this push at the moment. I do not believe anyone even has buybacks at the moment. So things looking pretty grim. This is going to be a base tower down, even with the experience in Goldie. Man, Team Liquid with their coordination, excellent engagement right there from them. Very, very impressed with their play thus far. They're going to pretty much get a melee racks for this. It's dropping quite fast. Are they going to have everyone back in time to engage? NADota wants to try to pick somebody off on the backside. See Spitwatt sitting over here. He has his level 3 ultimate. They're going to blink in. They're going to catch him out. Can he get his ultimate off first? No, it gets cancel cast. And Midnight Pulse drops as well. He's going to get Malphite twice in a row before his Omni even goes off. And that's going to be another kill for Hotbit, who, by the way, has level 2 track. Also adding in those track kills to those whole engagements. I mean, this is definitely looking rough for NADota. They lose their mid racks. They lost a tier 2, lost their entire team, and didn't kill a single hero. Props must be given to Team Liquid here for their last team fight engagement. See if they can continue the pressure. Now, 1 rack's down when you have a Juggernaut with the Battle Fury isn't the end of the world. I want to make that clear. Like, they do have ways to counter push. Juggernaut going for not a very high health-oriented build at all. He actually has 0 items that give him HP whatsoever, so he's very susceptible to getting stun-locked, as we just saw when he got caught out by the entirety of Team Liquid right there. But he does do a crap load of damage. So if he's left to his own devices in a team fight, he can really make things happen with his ultimate. He can try to get in, throw a couple of right-clicks off after the fact, spin if he absolutely has to. But every time Team Liquid has their ultimates up, they're applying pressure, they're forcing the issue, which is exactly the way you're supposed to be playing these lineups in the first place. So very excited to see how well Team Liquid is doing, as I'm sure a lot of their fans are there. So if you're a fan of Team Liquid, gotta be happy with how the game's going at the moment. But still, just look at the difference in gold between the carries. Like, with as much as Team Liquid is winning these team fights, the net worth for Nakes and Jug is still the highest on the map. I mean, I'm actually fairly certain, oh, never mind, holy cow, that gold swing. They were 4,000 of gold ahead before that last team fight. Now they're 1,000 gold behind. That is not a situation you want to be in. Hotbit's going to spot out ganked here, doing some Ancients. There are a couple of members of Team Liquid. Are they going to go for this kill? He does have the Mjolnir proc on himself. Wow, look at how fast he drops right there with the track. Good God, that was a lot of burst damage. And bottom side, we're going to have Spitwild looking to try to catch out Bumblebee, but that Malphite is just a little bit too strong. He's going to go ahead and spin and bot back to what I believe is the base, as Akiri throws up a shackle onto Heoka. It does latch, but Tidehunter has that pipe finish, almost has, or excuse me, it has the good hit finish, almost the pipe. Now we're going to see JSFI getting caught out once again. Jakiro pretty much is going to get one shot by Hotbit's Janata. Another track kill for Team Liquid. And they are continuing their momentum-based push here towards this bottom lane. They're going to have Black Hole up relatively soon, actually about 1 second. They have Ravage. Are they going to push the issue? I can't think that they wouldn't, considering how team fights have been going. Akiri does have his mech finish, so that's going to help NADotA there in the next team fight, but I don't really know if they can do anything to stop this. This is really troublesome. Tier 2 going to be taken down here. Pretty much no contention whatsoever coming out of NADotA. They want to try to defend in their base. Jakiro has finally resurrected, so we'll see if they're going to put forth any effort into going into the base again, or if they're just going to go ahead and back up and do Roche. Because Roche, with this kind of a team, you have Black Hole, Blink Initiation, BKB almost done on Bumblebee as well. He is only about 200 gold away. Oh man, this is really looking grim for NADotA at this point. And just look at the gold swing. It's been like 8 minutes, and there's an 8,000 gold swing. The experience is looking about the same, almost 10,000. They were behind for the entire game. And on the back of 2 team fights, they have come back so much that they are now miles ahead of the overall farm. This is the first time in the game where Luna has had a higher net worth than either Juggernaut or Naix the entire time. That is just attributed to their great team fight. Track gold, of course. Thanks. Being very, very good in that regard. BKB now picked up on Enigma the next time he black holes. There is going to be only one interrupt that can stop him on NADotA, and that's going to be Spitwad's Omni Slash. So if he doesn't wait it out, doesn't manage to catch him, then things are going to be looking so bad for NADotA. Gem actually dropped on the ground over here. Looks like they're going to go ahead and give it to the courier, or he just wants to finish an item. Not really sure. Look at how many things are on this courier. Good God. Ultimate Orb, Force Staff, Gem, a whole wand, a pipe recipe, and something else that I think just got transferred to Heyoka. Or no, never mind. It was the Manta there for Luna, so that's what the other recipe was. 16-6 right now, 30 minutes. I want to thank you guys again for joining me for the cast. This is the other Staff Cup, Team Liquid taking on NADotA. My name is Draskyl, bringing you all of the games today. I'm actually casting every single round and the finals. So if you guys are looking for coverage of the entire tournament, I will be here the entire day. I want to thank you guys for watching once again. You guys are awesome for continuing to support Dota 2, even if it's just a for-fun tournament. Might have to hold that thought for just a second, as Hotbid and Kipsade are actually going to be running down here away from NADotA. 4 heroes from their side, spotting out a couple of Team Liquid. But there's only one Tier 2 left right now for NADotA, and it's that top lane. But it doesn't really seem like Team Liquid cares all that much. I mean, they're basically just pushing down this bottom lane as if it was, you know, just meant to be. BKB's all finished. Force Staff now on the Bat Rider as well as the Blink, so we can get out of that team fight. We saw the Blink Initiation earlier, had a hard time getting out, didn't actually drop. We could just see an engagement here. They do have the pipe popped. Are they going to go on the high ground and try to force the issue? We're going to see some lightning go off there from Leshrac and try to counter push as best he can. More power shots being done. Luna actually taking quite a bit of damage. No helm with the Dominator, so no lifesteal per se, but they do have that urn. That's just shown right there from the Bat Rider. More power shots hitting Heyoka. Pipe's still on cooldown for 35 seconds. Can they actually engage into this? That's my question. I mean, honestly, this is a really hard spot. Track going to be going off on Spitwad. Splitter's going to be a bit off the mark on Hotbid right there. So he's not going to get stunned out inside the base. And this tower is basically taking a ton of damage for no reason. There's not been any contention whatsoever. No ice pass, no real engagement per se. But this is a really tough spot. One rack's already down. Can Team Liquid manage to push 2 in a row without losing a single hero? That would actually be quite amazing. Oh, Blink in. They're going to go for Spitwad. They force him out of the base. He's caught all by himself. Going to get his ultimate off before he drops. He does. This is going to be one engagement that NADotA might be able to win. Nice shackle over between Kipsade and Hotbid. They're going to Bounty Hunter's going to drop right away. Black Hole only hits one. There's the counter Ravage. But do they have enough damage to finish it off? Spitwad's actually going to get out of there with another kill as Luna picks him off on the backside. Now we're going to see Tidehunter also drop as well. That is 4 heroes down already. Aegis is going to repop Luna. Luna's going to be all by herself. The entirety of Team Liquid has basically just been demolished right here. And now we're going to see Luna try to make a break for it. She does have that Manta. She is quite fast. She can pop it to break the next open wounds that comes out here from Gank. There it is. Is she going to Manta out of it? She will. Now she's going to continue to run towards her base. Can they actually catch her? Look at how fast she is. Akiri just doesn't have the mana. He can win run, but no shackle. The Aegis ends up saving the carry of Team Liquid as the rest of his team was not quite as fortunate. They defend their tier 2. They manage to stem the tide. Very nice base defense right there. Excellent shackle from Akiri. Caught out the Luna and the Bounty Hunter straight away. He was one of the first ones to drop in the team fight. We talked about how important that is. Very well done by NADotA. Spitwad did drop, though. It's important to keep in mind. He got pulled out of the base. They couldn't drop him quite fast enough to make sure his Omni didn't go off. I'm actually a bit surprised they didn't just use another ultimate right there to ensure that they killed him, because in a 4-on-5, if you still have Black Hole or Ravage, you're feeling pretty confident if you're Team Liquid. But if you don't drop him in that time, and he manages to get his ult off, his damage is essentially done. Like, he doesn't have the effective HP to really stand and fight. He has 1200 health, which we saw how fast that can be burned through in the past, but he can't really sit there and just right-click. He spins, he ults, and then he either gets out of the fight or you've won the fight at that point if you're in NADotA. So, I mean, maybe a bit of a mistake in terms of coordination. I mean, it was a really brilliant blink in there from the Batrider, pulling him out of the base and getting him horribly out of position. But they just didn't have the follow-up damage to take him out without one extra ultimate, so that really hurt them. We're going to see Team Liquid actually go to more passive play here, sitting in their jungle and farming away, as NADotA has a 4-man smoke. The only person not here is going to be a carry playing that Windrunner, and they're looking for a kill. They're all going towards top lane, seeing if there's going to be anyone pushing this out. Of course, they're not going to spot anyone. Hotbit actually making his way towards the secret shop. He does have invisibility and a BKB, though. Jakiro has sentries on him, so Hotbit's going to have to be aware of that during the next team fight. We'll see if NADotA can continue to defend. Wow, blink up by Bumblebee. Very aggressive. He just blinks into pretty much an entire team right there and gets picked off, so that's a free kill on the belt there from NADotA. I don't think they're going to mind that too much. He didn't even get a chance to pop his BKB. He just pretty much disintegrated to the pure damage output that they have at this point. And I mean, 236 CS right now for Juggernaut, probably still the highest in the game. Let's double check. Yeah, he's the highest by quite a bit. Second place is still going to be Nakes, sitting at 192, and then Luna at 188. But the net worths are really what's important at this point. CS isn't really a proper indicator of how farmed you are, because of the tower difference and the overall gold difference between these two teams at this point, which we'll go ahead and check over right now. Team Liquid has pulled their way back from a 5,000 gold deficit all the way to a 5,000 gold lead, so a 10k gold swing, and looking at probably about a 7,500 experience swing in their favor. So they're still ahead, and NEODota still has their work cut out for them. We'll see if they can continue to get their farm that they need and their 2 carries to bring this to a very, very late game. It's already 35 minutes in. There's been 28 kills, so a little bit of action picking up there during the mid-game. Saw a couple of pushes by Team Liquid, one successful, one not so successful. Game is still pretty much anyone's to take at this point. And we'll see what is being sent to Lifestealer here. Looks like he's going for the Basher, so not going any more tankiness. Wants to get an Abyssal, walk into a team fight, have a second way to stop ultimates like Batrider, making him get out of a team fight like that. Stop Tide before he can throw his Ravage off. It's a bit of a risk using your disables on Tide because of the way Kraken Shell works, but if you can kill him before he gets a Ravage off, or even force a late Ravage, that can really turn the tide of a fight, because we've seen what happens when the Tide Hunter doesn't get his Ravage off and hit like 3 or 4 heroes that are very important. It basically just snowballs into, well, Tide Hunter doesn't really have the greatest long team fight potential. He's very similar to Juggernaut, and you get in, you use your abilities, and then you're done. I mean, that's really all he does. He can chase, do a couple of anchor smashes, but for the most part, he's basically just used for his ultimate. And NADotA for the first time in a while being on Team Liquid's side of the map, pushing down middle lane. Looks like they're all going to fall back. Forces quite a bit of teleportation out of Team Liquid, so I mean, that's gold wasted. It is a game of inches, so let's remember that. Every single portal scroll that you use that doesn't really surmount to anything is pretty much a win right now for NADotA. Hotbid sitting at level 14, actually picked up a vitality booster, so he's looking to tank up a bit. Make sure he's alive to get those tracks off in team fights, which is very, very important. He doesn't necessarily need to do a lot of damage, as we've seen Batrider, Tidehunter Ultimate, Luna Ultimate. They have a lot of just pure damage based on their heroes. So we'll see if they can continue to apply pressure without Bounty Hunter going for anything like a Desolator or even a Manta in some cases to give him that little bit of added damage output. Check out Spitwad here, see what items he has. He's sitting at 3,000 gold. He has an Orb of Enemies. He's going for a Scotty. That would definitely be an interesting choice. I mean, that would give him a lot of survivability. Would allow him to chase down pretty much anyone, even heroes like Luna. With track speed as well, though, that's going to be a really hard hero to catch. I mean, track speed Luna, it's 20% in addition to the 330 base, and of course, she has a Manta as well, so that's 10% extra move speed on top of that. She is going to be hauling. Tier 2 drops here. Team Liquid secures themselves the last outer tier tower of NADotA. Looking to get themselves a little bit farther ahead in the golden experience lead. And who did he just infest inside? I believe it was actually Spitwad, yeah. So Nakes is inside of Juggernaut right now. He's looking to try to land up an ultimate, maybe pop out during a mid-Omni and cause some havoc here. If they can get on the Enigma, or they can get on somebody important, actually hold on. Team Liquid's going to go first. They're going to grab Grant, pull him right out of the base. He's going to drop straight away. Are they going to engage into this? It's a 4-on-5. I'm not sure if this is the best choice. Omni Slash does go off. There's the Infest doing quite a bit of damage. Actually, Enigma and Tide both drop. There's no big ultimates. Gems on the ground. Hotbit pops the BKB, but not before he's already almost dead. Luna's going to be in a lot of trouble as well, taking a lot of autos from Juggernaut. Pops the Eclipse, but is it going to be enough damage? They do manage to take out Nakes, but 4 down right now. And Batrider, the only one to escape that engagement. That was so much damage. Battle Fury cleaving between Enigma and Tidehunter. The Infest comes out. They drop before they could get a single skill off. And NADotA once again defends their base in very, very valiant fashion with only 4 heroes. Grant getting ulted outside of the base, pulled a little bit out of position and eventually picked off. They do get a buyback out of Ganked. He had his Midas off cooldown. I assume that's why he bought back. It has 80 seconds, so we can just assume that he bought back because he wanted to make sure that he had his Midas on cooldown all the time. Boots of Travel used the bottom lane. Spitwad going to be pushing into this tier 2 solo. So they defend their base, and they managed to get a tower out of it. Very well done. Some friendly flame coming out from Grant. I love you too, man. I love you too. Lifestealer now level 19. Highest farmer and net worth in the game, though, is still that Juggernaut. Had that very early Battle Fury at about 13, 14 minutes, right on that cusp. Has continued to farm up. Went Boots of Travel for the split push. Has the gem in his inventory. Actually drops it. I'm not really sure what items he's going to be going for. Roshan is going to be spawning right now, actually, as we see that clock dropping towards the ground. That does mean he's going to be popping here. They do have evasion. Orb of Venom. Is he going to go Rapier? Man, that would be the manliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Please go for Rapier. Open Wounds is going to be used here on Roshan, which does work, by the way, in terms of lifesteal, so we can see that neither of these heroes are actually taking any damage whatsoever. And they're going to put it on Nexian. They're going to put it on Spitwad. And yep, Spitwad is going to pick up the Aegis, and this is going to be Cheese for Lifestealer. So the next team fight, I mean, Team Liquid really has to get their ultimates off. They've done a great job of it during the early to mid game, but now the late game transition is totally favoring NADotA. They have Nakes, they have Juggernaut, the 2 late game heroes that you really want to go against someone like Luna, because they can just sit there and bang at this point. I mean, I'm not really sure. Oh, it is going to be a Scotty, by the way, picked up by Juggernaut. So now he has 2,200 health. Look at the health increase. 25 all stats, 200 HP. That is a gargantuan increase to his survivability. Also gives him a bit of damage. Of course, that's slow. Going to be helpful as well. Gives him even more attack speed to get those auto attacks off through the Omni Slash between those charges. Very interesting build coming out here from the Juggernaut, but very effective, to say the least. I mean, he has some of the most expensive items per inventory slot in the game, which is what you would typically consider a hard carry build. The most expensive boots, one of the most expensive items in the game being a Scotty. Butterfly's up there as well. Battle Fury just for a farming tool. And eventually he'll just sell that, I would assume. Oh, blank into the base once again. Who's going to go for? Open Wounds does go off. He can't even get the Jakiro out of the base. Black Hole goes off, immediately gets canceled. Where's the Ravage? Hayoka still stunned. He's actually shackled as well. Ice Pass goes off, but he is going to get his Ravage off in the meantime. Looks like Leshrac and Jakiro are already going to be dropping on the side of Dire, and man, the damage output from Spitwad is just a little bit too much. They can't do anything to him. The Omni was used, the healing ward's still on the ground, wasn't killed. Brilliant shackle by Akiri, and that is a team wipe, triple kill for Juggernaut. The Ravage was a bit late. The Black Hole got immediately canceled once again. The ultimate's just not sinking right now for Team Liquid. That is the 3rd base defense back-to-back here for NADotA. They did lose the Nakes, who did pop his Cheese, by the way. Wow, he dropped through Cheese. That must have been a lot of damage output, to say the least. Buybacks aplenty coming out from Team Liquid. Batrider, Bounty, and Luna all by themselves back into the game. Good lord, man, this game is action-packed. Why don't we just cast casters from now on? These games are always the most exciting, I gotta say. Like, these games have always been close, at least in the Casters Cup, the original one. We had really, really close games, so... Again, if you guys haven't watched any of those, the VODs are all going to be on Own3D TV under Cinderen's account, and of course, these VODs will be on my channel at twitch.tv/NeoDota. Of course, follow this channel if you like the cast, because I will be solo casting more in the future. Of course, I'll have guest casters on as well. Just make sure you check out everything Dota 2 related, basically, even if it's not my stuff. Bottom lane, we can just hear the amount of sheer attack speed that Juggernaut has right now, even with Boots of Travel, which give absolutely none. He has a Butterfly, 30 attack speed, 30 agility, 25 more agility from the Eye of Scotty, and of course that whopping 6 that he gets from that Poor Man's Shield. Double damage going to be picked up here as well. He's going to have ultimate at 15 seconds, and I don't even know if this Juggernaut is killable at this point. I mean, he is so freaking beefy.
The Juggernaut's power is double.
I mean, Leshrac is pretty tanky, but Juggernaut's pretty tanky. Take another peek at the gold difference, and yep, there's the... I mean, look at that. I mean, from 5,000 ahead, or behind, to 5,000 ahead to even. And, oh, that is an experience deficit, to say the least. A 15, actually, wow, it just updated right there. I was looking at it. So around 7,500 is this mark right here, all the way to 10,000. 17,000 experience difference. That's what happens when you lose 3 team fights in a row. And not just lose them, but, I mean, they kind of got wiped 3 times in a row. Double damage going to be used here to auto-attack this tower down. He's still got it for another 3 to 4 seconds, and that tower has absolutely no chance. They're not even going to pop the glyph for it. It is off cooldown. Can they defend their base? They don't have Ravage just yet, but I feel it's going to be up soon. Yeah, it's going to be up 5 seconds. Black Hole should be following suit here shortly. About 35 for that. Are they going to continue the push? Again, Aegis only has 6 minutes. So the Aegis is actually going to be down relatively soon. We'll check Roshan. Yeah, it's only got about 3 minutes left. So they need to try to make something happen. Let's not forget how powerful Team Liquid's teamfight is and what they made happen in the early game. It can still happen again. Luna finishes the Satanic, by the way. BKB and Manta. Bounty Hunter still looking at pretty much the same items. Bat Rider working his way towards the BKB. Heyoka still has that pipe. Looking for a blink, probably. 2,000 gold. That's going to help significantly, actually. And NADotA backs off. They are not going to be pushing inside the base. Looks like Nyx wanted to hitch a free ride here. And steals all the CS of Spitwad. Pretty mannered there, ganked. Pretty mannered. Take a free ride on the way back to base, and then steal all the person who's carrying his farm. It's pretty nice. Team Liquid now making their way through the jungle. Maybe looking for a potential pick-off. Kiri is in the bottom lane here with Grand Grant. Hex now finished, actually, on Windrunner. And these team fights, man, it's 20 to 22. NADota's made their way back after they were ahead in the beginning. Had a bit of a fumble in mid-game, now they're ahead once again. See if they can continue that. Flame Wheel looking for a pick-off. Not going to find it, though. NADotA all grouping up around their, what used to be, Tier 3 bottom lane. As we can see the little earth thingy right there that used to be supporting the tower. Not there anymore, though. In the meantime, Spitwad split pushing top lane. I think Team Liquid is going to want to go for this. Ice Path going to stop the advance of the creeps here for a bit longer. Auto attacking being done here by Luna to push up the base. They want to get in here. They can't let Spitwad just split push. They have to try to make something happen. Flame Wheel blinks in. He's going to get open wounds once again. No BKB to stop any of this damage. He's going to get shackled. Doesn't actually latch. Here comes Juggernaut, though, with the Omni Slash once again. Who's he going to get, if anyone? Bumblebee goes in for a Black Hole. He actually immediately cancels himself. Even with the BKB on, the Ravage goes off, but it's just not enough. Their damage output is simply not high enough. Spitwad chasing down Hotbit. He does not have a gem. He's actually going to lose his Aegis here, roughly about the time that it would have been dead anyway. Bumblebee's going to be dropping there on the backside to an auto attack of the carry now. Luna inside of the base, popping her Satanic, but it's just going to make Ganked heal more because it's a Nyx, and that's going to be an entire team wipe once again. Triple kill coming out for Spitwad. That is the second triple kill he's gotten in a base defense. Actually, excuse me, it wasn't a team wipe, as Flame Wheel has somehow, some way managed to live through that team fight engagement, but still, the amount of damage that this Juggernaut is doing in these team fights is ridiculous. The Aegis was fading so soon, by the way, like, that was right on the edge of the Aegis being gone. I would say probably another 10 or 15 seconds, and that would have been a dead Spitwad. He probably would have had the money to buy back. Yeah, he had like 7 billion gold or something like that. 7,000, excuse me, but might as well be 7 billion at this point because he has 27,000 net worth. And I gotta say, man, for one of the admins, if not the admin of NADotA, he is carrying his team right now. We'll see if Team Liquid can kind of defend the base here for a second. Take a look at the KDA. Haven't really gone over that too much. 11, 2, and 9 here for Juggernaut. 9, 5, and 13 for the Luna. 8, 5, and 6 for the Bounty Hunter. Let's get a quick peek at that so everyone gets an idea of how far ahead this Juggernaut actually is in terms of overall farm. Windrun using her ultimate on the tower right there. Bumblebee going in. Once again, throwing out a Malphus. He's going to get open wounds here. His BKB is up cooldown if he needs it. They're going to throw out... Oh, nice quadruple stun coming out from Grand. BKB popped by Kipsay. This is going to be one of the final defense of the game. Infest used there from Gank to do a little bit of extra damage, and Luna's going to be the first one to drop. The rest of Team Liquid retreats back into the base. Lightning being used. Trek can be thrown off onto Grand, but it simply does not matter. The carries, the damage output of NADotA is just a little bit too high, and the GGs come out. NADotA takes their first win in the other Staff Cup. Thank you to Spitwad coming out. Ultimate going to be going off inside the well. Scotty does actually proc during Omni Slash, by the way. Slows them down pretty significantly. Looks like he was probably going to be buying a Rapier. Had that Sacred Relic in his inventory before the game was ended, but that's it! Round 1 is in the books. We'll be coming back to you soon with Round 2. Of course, NADotA, the winner of this Round 1 game, going to be playing against the winner of the North American Casters and ESFI. I'm not sure if the game's already over or not, but this was a 48-minute game, essentially, so it's a pretty long game. Once again, NADotA takes a victory. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes with game number 2, the semifinals of the other Caster Cup. Thank you guys once again. We'll be back in a bit.
So much more than I thought this world could ever hold. So much more than I thought this world could ever hold. We think we're heroes, we think we're kings, we plan all kinds of fabulous things. Oh, look how great we have become.
Key in the door, the moment I've been longing for. Before my bag hit the floor, my adorable children rush up, screaming for a kiss and a story. They're a gift to this world, my only claim to glory. I surely never knew sweeter days, blows my mind like munitions. I'm amazed, 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 amazed.
So much heaven, so much hell, so much love, so much pain, so much more than I thought this world could ever contain. So much more, so much soul, one man's lost, another man's gold. So much more than I thought this world could ever We're just children, we're just dust. We are small, we are lost, and we're nothing, nothing at all.
One bomb, the whole block gone. Can't find my children and dust covers the sun. Everywhere is noise, panic and confusion. But to some, another fun day in Babylon. I'm gonna bury my wife and dig up my gun. My life is done, so now I've got to kill someone, someone.
So much heaven, so much hell, so much love, so much pain, so much more than I thought this world could ever contain. So much more, so much soul, one man's lost, another man's gold. So much more than I thought this world could ever hold.
Hey guys, really quick, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Of course, this is the other Staff Cup, casted by myself, Draskyl, on NEODota at Twitch TV. So if you guys like the cast, feel free to follow us here. We are going to be bringing you guys a semifinals soon. We are just waiting on the other games to end, so we'll be having the semifinals coming your way in just a bit. Once again, thank you for watching. I'll be back soon.
the soul of a sound, in the soul of a sound, and we fall into the song. Do you believe in the sound of a soul? Do you believe in the sound of a soul? In the sound of a soul, 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 in the sound of a soul.
Dire team banned.
All right, guys, we're back with the second game of the day. This is the semifinals, ESFI taking on NADotA, of course. NADotA just coming off their win against Team
Radiant
Liquid.
team
Very
battle.
close game, I might add. It was a very, very good game to say the least. And it looks like the North American casters were the ones who dropped to ESFI in round one as well. So this is one of the semifinal games. The other semifinal that's going on right now is Dignitas Staff versus Dota Commentaries. I know that's being streamed by someone. Again, I don't know who it is off the top of my head, but if you look at Twitch TV, I'm sure you will find it if you browse under the Dota 2 section. But again, we are now in to the ban and pick phase of both of these teams. Obviously, ESFI beating the North American casters. I was a bit
Radiant team.
surprised by that. I guess ESFI does have some skilled Dota players, to say the least. So we're going to see TA, Venomancer banned out here from NADotA in the first ban phase, and also a Nakes and Darkseer taken out by ESFI. So they've done their homework. They fear the ganked Nakes. Well, I'm not really sure why, because let's be honest, they got carried by Spitwad, right? I mean, let's just be real here for a second. No, but seriously, NADotA played a great game number one against Team Liquid. They managed to hold off the massive team fight potential that they had at their
10
disposal,
seconds remaining.
and basically farm their way to victory through having 2 hard carries comparative to
5
only the
seconds
1
remaining.
that Team Liquid had for them. So now we're going to wait for the first pick. Again, it is random all the way up until the finals, which is going to be decided by a coin toss, if I'm not mistaken, and then we'll just switch off each of the best of 3 games for that. And we're going to see a Wisp Jakiro as the first 2 picks from ESFI, and Sand King a first pick from NADotA. So things have taken a turn for action-packed here in game number 2 of the day, as we've already seen 3 very aggressive picks. Wisp, of course, probably going to be partnering with a CK, maybe a Tiny. Now NADota's in a bit of a bind here. Do they want to go ahead and pick up one of those heroes to take away the potential for ESFI to run that, or do they want to just kind of stick to their guns, do something similar to what they did last game?
10 seconds
We'll find out here in a couple of seconds. Once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, this is the other Staff Cup. My name is Draskyl, doing all of the casting for you today on Twitch TV/NeoDota. This is a channel I'm affiliated with in terms of all my solo casting, or anything that I do as a play-by-play caster. You can find it here, as Tiny and Queen of Pain are going to round out the first 3 here for NADotA. So now they have a support. They have somebody who's probably going to be farming as a carry, which would be Tiny, and then, of course, Queen of Pain, who can constitute as a mid, can be an offlaner. Not really sure what it's going to be in this case, but given the fact that they already have a Sand King, I mean, way back in the day, we've seen Sand Kings do offlanes. Not really so much anymore, but it is possible. ESFI going to take their last 3, and it's going to be a Chaos Knight, so not really too surprised to see any of that coming out from ESFI. They did have a Wisp, so those are the most commonly used heroes with a Wisp is Tiny and CK. So one taken away by NADotA, the other is acquired by ESFI here in the end of the first pick phase. Going to see a Rubik taken out here by NADotA. And looking at the team compositions already, Sand King, Tiny, Queen of Pain, massive AoE burst damage output. Like, bar none, that is some of the highest heroes you could possibly get. Toss Avalanche, known as being a almost insta-kill combo to heroes who don't have any more than 900 HP. It's very difficult to get away from things like that. You have Queen of Pain to follow up with her Scream, her ultimate, high mobility, and Sand King, of course, with Epicenter and Burrow Strike. So all AoE right now from NADotA. We'll be seeing if Tiny is going to be playing a hard carry role, or if he wants to go for kind of the old school initiator, just go for a fast blink dagger or something like that, and try to make something happen that way. They do have to worry about a Wisp teleporting around the map, but I want to also point out here really quick that if you take your Wisp this early, and most teams do actually who run it, but the downside to it is that they're going to know exactly what you're doing immediately, like there's not going to be any surprises. You basically have to look at the fact that the Wisp is going to be teleporting with a CK, period. So you just have to have your map awareness ready for that. Don't ever really farm alone. Try to have a buddy that you hang out with most of the time, and that way you can ensure that you're not going to get picked off straight away. And the other way to counter it is you can just lane against it. A lot of times, Wisp is not known for being an amazing laner. I mean, Spirits do okay damage, and Tether is an okay laning utility, but there's nothing really about the hero that makes him an early game lane dominator, as to say other ranged heroes would be in a lot of cases. So, with that being said, you can lane against it, you can try to stick together, play what I like to call the 5-man Dota, which is just group up, try to push, and end the game that way. There are multiple ways that you can deal with it. We'll see what NADotA is going to be trying to do to stop it today. More bans coming out. We're going to see Invoker and Tide both taken out here by NADotA, and then Disruptor, Windrunner also banned out by ESFI. They have one more ban left to go. Then we're going to get our way into the second ban phase. And, you know, I wanted to hit a little bit on Disruptor because this is the first time that I've seen him at least picked or banned for today. And he did just get recently buffed, if you guys didn't know, Force Staff, also being increased in cost by 200, no longer gets you out of kinetic field. That makes Disruptor an insanely strong hero, especially against heroes like Queen of Pain, like Sand King, who rely on their mobility and or abilities like Sandstorm to just pretty much go invisible and not die. I mean, there are two ways to get him out of Sandstorm already. They have Ice Path, they have Tether Stun, and of course you can buy sentries and gems and stuff like that. But outside of it, playing a Disruptor is going to be really, really a lot easier now, and it's going to be more rewarding because you can guarantee trap anyone inside your kinetic field who doesn't have a BKB. That is now the only way that you can possibly get out of the fight at all. Now, Lich is actually going to be seen here by ESFI as well, along with the Crystal Maiden and Alina. So they did pick a very weak laner in terms of Wisp, but Lich is known as one of those heroes who is more of a lane dominator. We're going to see a Pudge. So ESFI pulling out all the stops. We're going to have two very hard supports here picked out by NADotA. It's going to be Crystal Maiden Lina, and ending out for ESFI, it's going to be a Pudge and a Lich. Now, when you pick those heroes together, it's an interesting combination because Lich is known for somebody early game who can shut down a lot of farm. You get the free sacrifice every wave. You can play kind of aggressive, but Pudge is just pure aggression. Like, not even close. It's just all aggression all the time. You want to try to land hooks, get kills. That's your job. Now, Wisp has two targets. He could potentially teleport around the map now. He has the CK, he has the Wisp, which is great. But the Lich is definitely an interesting pick because two of the heroes can just negate the ability completely. One has a blink, one has Sandstorm, so there's no detection. Then if the Chain Frost bounces to him, he can basically just prevent it from bouncing, or at the very least walk it away with a Burrow Strike or blink it away if you're Queen of Pain in this case. But we're going to go over the lineups really fast. We have a couple of disconnects, but I'm not really sure what's happening. Is everyone just leaving the game? I am so confused on what's going on right now, and everyone has disconnected, so we might be having a remake here, folks. I apologize for the delay, but I don't have any clue as to what's happening here in this game. Looks like I'm not going to get to go over the players. We'll go ahead and find out here what the heck is going on. I'm actually going to tab out here for a second and make sure that everything is in order. Are we going to pause? So there's only two people in the game right now. It's going to be 1 versus 1, Queen of Pain versus Wisp. We'll see who wins. I mean, obviously, I don't know if anybody's having disconnect issues or not. Just seeing some back and forth here between Wisp and Queen of Pain. It's going to be an epic fight. Queen of Pain, of course, starting with Blink. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a remake game. There's only 2 people left. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves out of the game. We will come back in just a couple of minutes with hopefully the semifinals of the other Staff Cup here in just a couple of minutes, guys. I want to thank you again for watching. We'll be back real soon. Alright guys, we're back with a remake of the semifinals between ESFI and NADotA. Once again, I'm Draskyl doing all the casting for you today on behalf of NEODota. Welcome to the semifinals game of the other Staff Cup. And it is all picked, by the way, and people have disconnected again because apparently we did not host with our labels. As we can see, it's Radiant down here and not ESFI. So just as quickly as I do my introduction, I am going to have to bid you adieu. In a couple of minutes, we'll be back with the next game, guys. Sorry again for the delay. We'll be back in a second. Alright, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Others Caster Cup. My name is Draskyl, bringing you all the action today. This is a semifinals game between ESFI World and NADotA. NADotA high off their recent victory over Team Liquid, and ESFI, of course, taking out the North American casters in the other round 1 game. So now we are in the semifinals. Once again, guys, this is a best of 1. Basically, the way it works is it's best of 1 all the way up until the finals. Finals are going to be a best of 3. The starting side is random, so we don't know who's going to get starting side. Actually, I think it was NADotA for the second time in a row. So I think they had first pick and Dire 2 games back-to-back, which is pretty good. This is all pick. We are rehosted. The drafting is already completely finished. So the lineup hero-wise for ESFI is going to be Pudge, CK, Jakiro, Lich, and Wisp. And then, of course, for the Dire side, we're going to have Lina, Crystal Maiden, Sand King, Queen of Pain, and finally Tiny going to be running out their laps. We'll go over players in just a second, but once again, guys, welcome in. We still have, at the very least, this game and 2 more to go, assuming the finals are a sweep, which I don't know if they will be, because right now, Dota Commentaries and Ecal, I believe, are heading off in the other semifinal match. I believe Kawa is casting that, as people have told me. Actually, no, excuse me. Dota Commentaries beat Ekel. It's Dota Commentaries and NADotA staff going at it in the other semifinals. So we'll see which one actually makes it to the best of threes. And now the good luck have funs come out. We're going to be bringing you this game here in just a short couple of moments. So now we'll go over the players on each of their respective heroes. JSP once again playing Jakiro in game number 1. Going to be playing Crystal Maiden in game number 2. Ganked playing on that tiny Spitwad, who played that Juggernaut earlier, is now going to be playing on Lina, which leaves Akiri on Sand King, and finally Grant going towards that off lane here as Queen of Pain. And then for ESFI, we have RX, is going to be playing on Wisp Dysfunction, playing a Jakiro Claude, going to be playing Lich, Space Loner on CK, and finally Danny Delicious going to be playing on that Pudge. Now we're just waiting for the game to start. Everyone to get into their respective lanes so we can see what the matchups are going to be. We already know that Grant's going to be soloing in this off lane. Did somebody buy him a Quelling Blade? I'm pretty sure they pooled him money to buy him a Quelling Blade. Who sacked that money? It had to have been Crystal Maiden or Sand King, to say the very least, but Sand King actually decided to start with the glove. Wards already dropped down here from ESFI. They get up there fast. I mean, I don't even know if they have sentries because of the fact that they pulled that quelling. No, they do not, so this pull is definitely going to be blocked, and they're going to have the full vision of the aggressive tri-lane that's going to be coming out here from NADotA, so a nice little leg up here if you're an off-laner from ESFI, which apparently is going to be Lich, and he's going to be sitting at his tower denying a creep every single wave, and you know what, this is pretty clever. It allows you to essentially deny experience and gold without ever having to put yourself in a position where you could potentially be picked off. But we do see Akiri is making his way towards middle lane. It's going to be a double stun composition of Lina and Sand King versus a Pudge, which is an excellent way to shut him down. Or Akiri is just going to go ahead and turn back and run back up the top lane. Looks like he was just placing down a ward. And apparently Grant, excuse me, was assuming that they weren't actually going to put the Pudge mid, but it is in fact Pudge mid, so I can assure you that it is indeed a 1 versus 1. Lina taking out a Pudge, I mean, that's a very scary situation if you're Spitwad. You do not want to be up against a Pudge. If you get hooked, even if you land your stun, I mean, it's very, very hard to get away from that, especially if he gets boots on you before you do. Pudge is 285, Lina's actually 295, so you have a slight base movement speed increase, but of course, once you're in route range, he doesn't suffer from the same slow that you will. So it's very, very difficult, to say the least, to deal with that, but top lane is going to be an aggressive tri-lane versus solo Lich, and this is a basically triple stun. You have the Frostbite, you have Sand King with Burrow Strike, and then you have Avalanche. If he gets caught by this, it's going to be really hard to get away from it. I mean, the creep wave is getting pushed in so hard. We can see Ganked is actually running a little bit past the tower to try to continue his pressure to ensure that this Lich has to stay as far back as possible. And I'm pretty sure that RX is actually looking for Grant here in the woods. He does have 1 rank of Blink, but he's actually out of experience range right now. Typically, the reasoning behind buying that is to cut your way into the trees in a way that the team can't find you and basically get into experience range so you can actually get something out of nothing, whereas right now he is too far away and he's not going to be able to get anything from it. We'll pop up in the CS. It's 9-4 right now for the CK, no real surprise. He's the leader on the board, followed by Lina, who is 7-2 actually, with a pretty poor animation. Actually might see some action here mid lane. Danny Delicious does have that right activity. He has able to hook. Is he going to go for it? He got hit by the Light Strike array, but he's going to decide better. I think if he landed a hook with a stun down, he would have for sure been able to get a kill, but decides not to throw it out. He does only have 1 hook in the early game. If he misses it, then he loses all his lane presence, because once the Pudge is out of mana, you don't really have to worry about hooking so much anymore. Another Light Strike array does go off. Is he going to go for the hook this time? Bottle's already finished from Spitwad. The hook misses by a huge margin. Can he actually go for the kill? 1 second on Light Strike array. Can he land it? 1 more. He's going to be in tower range. Misses. Nice juke by Danny Delicious, and he makes his way back to the tower. Both heroes part ways with a lot of damage dealt to each other, but no kill on the board. Still 0-0 at 2.5 minutes into the game. Once again, ESFI taking on NADotA here in the semifinals of the other Staff Cup. Tiny continues his farm up in the top lane. Decided to go for boots first. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go the patented phase boots into Drum, into Yasha, or Ultimate Orb. Or not Ultimate Orb, excuse me, Point Booster, depending on what kind of build you actually like to go. Grant's going to get spotted out here by RX. They trade a couple of auto attacks. Grant has managed to get himself level 2. And he's being very annoying with that Quelling Blade, making his way over so he can actually get some experience. Maybe even potentially steal some of these creeps as he does so with a level 1 Scream. He's going to run right into Jakiro, takes a couple of auto attacks. Ooh, blinks into a bad spot. Ice Path's going to hit him. He might have actually given away first blood here. Dual Breath does land. Can they do enough damage? He tries to tango up, but it's not going to be enough. And Wisp gets a kill on the board. Grant on the Queen of Pain drops. In the meantime, Toss onto Lich in the top lane. It's a 1300 rank Toss at level 1, and now he's going to be in a lot of trouble as well. There's the Crystal Nova and the Frostbite that goes off. Crystal Maiden gets the kill. Avalanche way after the fact. Auto attack a creep. Auto attack a creep. There we go. And the Crystal Maiden manages to get away by A-clicking on her friendly creeps. For those of you who don't know, you can drop tower aggro very quickly, and that way Hook is going to land a middle lane on Spitwad. He doesn't have his ult just yet. The stun lands, gives him enough time to get away. And now we can see the difference between being able to get boots first and not getting boots. Because that time of move speed difference along with the stun allows him to get away. And apparently my mic is off. Oh, we're going to see another stun out. He tried to go for an attempted hook right there. Hopefully nothing happens in the time that I do this. My mic is on, and it is playing now. There we go. People should be able to hear me inside of Dota TV. I apologize, guys. I thought I had that all sorted out, but apparently I did not. So if you couldn't hear me before, now you can. Thank you, of course, to the head admin who told me that my microphone wasn't going through Dota TV. CK continuing to farm away in bottom lane, sitting at 19 and 8 CS, doing pretty well. Ganked now later on the board, sitting at 22 and 3, has those phase boots finished. It's only 4 minutes into the game. Grant having to play very, very passive down here. He has level 3. He's actually skilling Blink, which is pretty good considering the fact that the cooldown goes down quite a bit every single level, and you can, of course, blink farther. Spellwad's doing a pretty good job in middle lane of denying Danny any of these hooks that he's really been looking for. He is level 5. They haven't killed each other yet, but Spitwad is leading in terms of the CS. So, middle for NADotA is doing quite well. And if Lena continues her spam, even if Pudge lands a hook at that point, outside of being level 6, which he is pretty much halfway to at this point, this matchup is a little bit lopsided right now in favor of Lena, as long as her positioning isn't too poor. Take a first peek at the gold graph here. We can see NADotA is getting a slight advantage in terms of the lanes. We're going to see RX spot out Queen of Pain here. In the meantime, top another toss onto Claude. He's going to be in trouble. Bro Strike does go off. Avalanche to follow, but it misses. Immediate teleportation reaction coming in from ESFI. Jakiro has made his way now to the top lane to give a little bit of relief to this toss combination with the Sand King. That's like a free Blink Dagger, man. You don't even really have to line that up too much. Frost Blast is going to go off onto Josephine, and he's going to run away and be okay for the moment. But man, that level 1 toss being 1300 range is absolutely insane. Space Owner looking for a Reality Rift. He might get the range. There it is. Oh, but it's so far away from the Wisp. It's a 2-second stun. Can he actually get away in time? Looks like Grant is going to be dropping twice here in the bottom lane. And Space Owner is going to get away with essentially no health whatsoever. Has those treads already finished 2-1 right now, as ESFI has put in 2 offlane kills on the board, taking out Queen of Pain for the 2nd time in a row in this bottom lane. It's only 6 minutes in. Already been a lot of action, of course, mid. A couple of hooks being landed there by the Pudge, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough to get him a kill. Spitwad spamming down that middle wave so he can get himself to the rune in time. Oh no, Jakiro, this is not where you want to be. Burrow Strike goes off. Light Second Ray is actually going to miss, I think, by a little bit. Maybe a land, I'm not quite sure, but he has a really nice ice path. Not going to matter, though, as the pinch comes through from Sand King. That had to have hit, actually. He was stunned for quite a long time. Might have been just on the edge right there. I'm sure somebody in the chat saw it, but that was a really, really weird position for him to be in, especially when you don't have vision. And it's 6.5 minutes into the game. That is like the death rune. Around 6 minutes, that's when the wards just fade, and they got there around the 6:20, 6:15 mark, which means that there's pretty much no vision ever, unless the supports are so good about their timing that they get it right away. Hook's going to be missed here in the middle lane by Danny Delicious. Light Strike Array is not going to be quite on the mark either, but Crystal Maiden turns around, helping out her sister by just throwing out a Crystal Nova, forcing the Pudge back for the time being. CK sitting bottom, still trying to farm, but now he's alone. Ooh, another hook land in the middle lane. Spitwad's going to be dropping here to the Dismember and hook combination. That's what we're talking about. Danny Delicious getting a kill on the board. And as Pudge, that's really all you need. 1 or 2 landed hooks, and the lane can completely change in your favor. Almost missed that kill. Actually saw the Lena flying across the map. Basically had to move the camera there in the nick of time just to see Spitwad getting eaten alive right there. So, another kill on the board for ESFI. Josephine's made her way to the top lane. There's a flying Sand King and a Burrow Strike onto Lich once again. Are they going to back out of tower range or go for the kill? Avalanche and Frostbite overlap, but it simply does not matter. CK is now teleporting towards top. Jakiro pointing out the fact that there is a chicken currently in the fray. Josephine sending herself something. Looks like it was just a little bit of regen. But man, that is a scary situation to say the least. If you're a Lich, you can do nothing about that whatsoever. 1,300 toss range at that level means Sand King doesn't even need a Blink Dagger. Space Owner might be in some trouble here as well. Oh no, ganked running right in, but he actually doesn't get Ice Path. There's a Reality Rift. Is he going to throw out a stun in time? No, he's actually just going to get stunned on himself. There's the Frostbite. Dual Breath does hit ganked. He's quite low at the moment. Space Loner is going to drop, though, due to the Dragon Slave coming out from Spitwad. Now they're going to continue chasing onto Dysfunction. Triple Ice Path. There's a Laguna, though, getting the double, as Josephine is going to drop to the Frost Blast and auto attacks of Lich on the backside. Ganked still over here behind enemy lines. Does not have a TP. Claude's going to spot him out. Oh, he phases right through him, but it's not going to matter. There's another nuke and 1 auto attack, and Tiny is going to fly back into the game 5-5. ESFI forces a buyback out of the, I guess, hard carry of NADota's team, which is going to be Tiny, and that's definitely something you really are going to be happy with at this point in the game. Lena, by the way, has a haste bottled. Also has those Tranquil Boots finish, and there's just been action all over the place. This is nothing like the first game that we saw today, NADota versus Team Liquid was more of a passive. We're going to do like 1 or 2 team fights type game, and then kind of just sit back and see what we can do in terms of farm. This is just all fighting all the time. Reality Rift not going to hit here on Spitwater in the middle lane. He does have that haste if he really needs it. Pudge now sitting at level 8. Only has 20 CS, but he does have that kill on the